Can I ask you a question about those cooking shows?
Yes.
A bit of behind the curtains that I'm interested in.
Yes.
Because I'd love to go on one of those shows.
You want to know how the sausage gets made?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
you
why I'm watching the show.
strike me as like a secretly good at cooking person.
See, I am.
I bet you have Eric Wareheim's cookbook. Did I get you, bitch?
Yeah, and I love it, and it's fucking
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
good.
yeah. I know exactly what kind of cook
His
you are.
ragu is great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Do Everything. My name is Tommy Dasilo. I am your host, and what happens here every week is that I sit down with a different guest expert who teaches me how to do everything. And today on the show, Nina Oyama is going to teach me how to choreograph an Indian wedding. Has that one come up on the show yet? I'm not sure. This show is on Patreon. If you like what you hear, you can support us over there at patreon.com/howtodoeverything, and you can get a bonus mini episode every week. There's a couple up there already. Sometimes they'll feature guests that have been on the main episode. Sometimes there'll be brand new combinations of guests recorded just for Patreon. But after today's episode, you can hear a little bit more with Nina Oyama. So if you enjoy this, if you like the show in general and you'd like to keep it going, head over there and pledge your support. It's very much appreciated. Today on the program, Nina Oyama. You know her from Deadloch. You know her from so many different shows that she's been on. She's great on social media. You might have seen her last stand-up tour. Nina Oyama is coming. She's so funny. She's a very good friend of mine. I've known her for a very long time. Always love podcasting with Nina Oyama. She's going to teach me how to choreograph an Indian wedding. She's going to teach me how to get booked on a cooking show. And also, let's be completely honest, it's Nina. So we get sidetracked, we do some meandering, we go off script, we get loose. It's a lot of fun. So without further ado, please enjoy this episode of How to Do Everything with Nina Oyama. It's a little, I don't know, I like predictability though. You know what? And this is like, we are recording now, so I am very bravely going to say this publicly. I think I'm going to rewatch Entourage. I keep seeing clips come up on Instagram, and it's exactly what you were describing. It's so every scene is like, that's going to come back around. Yeah. This will be bad for a bit, and then it'll get good at the end, and they'll all celebrate. But then at the very last minute, there'll be a phone call where they're like, it's actually not all good.
Okay, but like Entourage isn't a show for... It's not like an intellectual show. Like everyone who watches,
it's not pretending to be. Sure,
exactly. It's like here's a like dumb guy in Hollywood that does Hollywood shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like it's so stupid. And it's like here are all the hottest babes you've ever seen, and here are their tits, and like
so
it's
much of thinking I'll rewatch a show is just, do I feel like watching that theme song again repeatedly? Like I'm always thinking I got to do a Sopranos rewatch. And of course the quality of the show says something to that.
Yes.
But really it's like I just want to hear that theme 150 times in a row or however many episodes there are.
I can't even remember what the Sopranos theme is.
Woke up this morning.
It's like,
I
gotta get my gun. Yeah.
I've got to get my gun.
Yeah.
Speaking of poor
you know the
writing.
musical Tony, Get Your Gun?
Tony, Get Your Gun. Yeah.
I'm just a girl who can't say
We'll
no.
live to see a Sopranos musical, I think. There'll be some kind of Sopranos Broadway production.
I would watch it.
Everything gets filtered back into some form of reconfigured, like a play or a musical or some form of stage show.
We're just at
Sopranos.
that stage where we're like, what is it, BoJack Horseman, a Xerox of a Xerox?
Yeah.
It's like culture is just like photocopying itself in less interesting
Who are you the
ways.
Who are you the Xerox of? And who's the Xerox of you?
Shit.
It's a good question, isn't it?
I don't think anyone's the Xerox of me. Bro, if anyone Xeroxes me, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, stop it. I'll
keep an eye out.
Developing.
I'll keep an eye out on the scene. If I see a Xerox of Nina, I'll let you know.
I'm a Xerox of like, I'm like the show business equivalent of a Xerox where someone has like decided to photocopy their butt. And then they're like, this will be a funny thing. And they've done it like 1,000 times.
You're the office Christmas party.
Yeah, and everyone's like, haha. And then they're like, yeah.
I'll tell you what the Xerox is at the moment. And I won't out this person, but someone who we both know pointed this out to me, and then we've both obsessively been sending pictures of it back and forth.
What?
That there are a lot of people, no offense, but almost exclusively young men in stand-up at the moment, doing the You know, the Shane Gillis, how he's always got his arm kind of folded behind his back like that.
Yeah.
And so this person sent me a screenshot. He's like, this is fucking driving me insane. I've just noticed like everyone is doing this now. And then it's one of those things where once you see it, you just notice it everywhere.
It's like when Sam Campbell came to Sydney and everyone started doing a Sam Campbell impersonation.
Right. It's that. But
it was like literally even people that had a developed style. Right. Being like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, different cadence. And then someone was like, Sam Campbell, like, who do you base your cadence on? And he was like, Hughesy.
Yeah, it's like, because there's always like a person on the scene that's doing well.
Yeah.
But then there's also like the big, of the moment person where it trickles down. But the little arm folded back, I'm noticing it in almost every clip I see posted. But then now I'm like at gigs and I'm seeing it in the wild and then very quickly getting my phone out to snap a photo and send to this person who we've now got this like running
Incredible
collection of the
chain.
Shane Gillis arm. Folks, if you go to a lot of stand-up, keep an eye out for it. I promise you now.
The Gillis arm.
You are not going to be able to unsee it. So that's the big Xerox at the moment. But I'll keep an eye out for the Nina OYAMA Xerox.
I'd love it. I don't think I have enough of a like style or something.
Yeah.
Maybe like I feel like
no, but you've got an essence. Someone
do.
replying to a text at 4 a.m. or be like, that's pure Nina.
I love replying to texts at 4 a.m.
Yeah. It's
I
the
think
best
it
time.
makes you look like a rock star.
Yeah, I texted you yesterday evening to just be like, oh, hey, by the way, I always forget to tell people this, but I filmed this fucking thing now. So just if that influences the fit in any way. And then I woke up this morning and had a reply from you and I was like, I feel like I went to bed pretty late. And that reply came in while I was asleep and I checked the time, 3:59 a.m.
Yeah,
but this is on a Friday night and I was like, dude, that rules. That because
it's called having a life.
Exactly.
Tommy.
You go like, fuck yeah, she was partying. My thinking would be, and not to say that I thought this, but my thinking would be if I was on your end, maybe I won't reply this late because it might make them think, oh no, he's just going to turn up really hungover and be a bit of a disaster on the pod. You know what I mean?
And you know what? If I did, that's also fine.
No, absolutely.
Maybe, I don't know. I think it's because you and like I've showed up on your podcast fucked. Many times.
You've been drunk, you've been hungover, you've been on all ends of the spectrum. So it's really it's grist for the mill.
Dude, I was so hungover for Josh Earl's podcast that I didn't even show up.
Oh, that's right.
Just kidding. It's because I put the time in my phone wrong. But it was just like, I was like, it can't be worse than that. It can't be worse than not showing up. I was like, if I'm really high still, it'll be fun.
I remember
if I'm not.
I remember doing a run at the Comedy Festival of live Dum Dum podcasts and like the last one that we'd done, the final week, I had been really hungover.
Yeah.
And I was like really guilty about it. Really like, oh man.
Because you didn't feel like you're on your A game?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of, I just felt so shit during the show. And then like going into it, I was like, man, this is so unprofessional. Like, this is my fucking job. Like whatever, it's meant to be fun and it's the festival and everything.
Yeah.
And it is the final week, but still. But then like a couple of months later was like editing taking some clips out for like a best of thing of the run of that month of shows.
Yeah.
And I got to that one and I was like, dreading listening back to myself on it. And I was like, this is my best one. This is my this is the best performance I gave for the month.
Because you don't give a fuck.
Because I don't care.
You're just like, oh, I got to get through it. And
I'm just happy to be alive.
Exactly. You're like, I've got to hit my marks. Like,
yeah.
You're just like, if you rock up and you're sober, you're like, oh, I'll just do my best. But if you're drunk or hungover or you have this, it's like your guilt brain where you're like, I've got to be funny. I've got to do it.
There's something to be said for like, I'm really trying to be more like in the moment, especially when I'm performing and not think. There's so many things that I've done where I'm like really stressed and anxious about it and I'm thinking like, I just can't wait for this to be over.
Yes.
So I can relax. But then you realize like, that's such a bad way to live. Like it's a gift to be able to do the thing. So trying to be more present, but also if you are very present and you're in the moment and you're thinking about like every single thing that's coming out of your mouth as you're saying it, then you second guess yourself.
No.
So truly just being on stage and thinking about how good it's going to be in bed eating a pizza, that's like the most pure way to be. That's like meditating. You've cast the current stress of the show out of your mind.
No, this is true. I honestly like haven't been on stage in like so long. That's not true. I hosted something recently, but like I think I do have that like I can't wait for it to be over, But then once I'm doing the thing, I'm like, it's like when I get on stage, I get so nervous before I go on stage. Like
Right.
I get like heart palpitations or something. I think it's why I don't like doing straight stand up anymore because it stresses me out.
Yeah.
And I think I do it to myself, and then I get on stage, and it usually goes fine, if not well. And it's like it's like I'm on MDMA.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
for like 10 minutes. And then I get off stage and I just feel so weird and sad because I just spent so long hyping myself up, so long, like 10 minutes flying, and then just like for hours afterwards, I'm like mentally crashing.
It really does fuck your body up. Like even just going like,
It's
if your
like
show is on late, you
skydiving
just
or
know that it's
something.
like 2 or 3 hours of like come down of like, I've done spots the last couple of nights. One of them went great, and it's exactly what you're talking about. It was like, oh man, this is the fucking best feeling in the world. I am the king.
Yeah, you're like,
And then-
I'm the best comedian ever.
And then last night's one, it was like having an out-of-body experience where like time slowed down, and I was just like, the room was lit enough that I could like see everyone's. I was like, I just was so. And this is what I'm talking about. I was too in the moment because in my head I was like, look at how bored these people look.
Yeah. You don't want to be too in your head.
In my head, doing an inventory of like everyone's facial expression in the room, going like, this feels like it's been going for, and this is just a set that I've been doing like for a couple of months now. That's just like stuff that's not in the show that all hits really well to
that's
like
good.
kind of promo the show, and I like doing, and it feels like pretty bulletproof at this point.
Yeah, and
I
then
was
you're
like,
like,
I feel like I've been up here for 2.5 hours. It's 7 minutes. Like the light hasn't even come on yet.
like, save me. Fucking
like,
save me.
Zeroing in on this woman being like, she looks so confused. Like she looks like a fucking new species of creature has just appeared in front of her where she's trying to piece together like, is that a fin on the top of its head? Is that like a second mouth on his neck?
Where was this show and what time was it?
This was Conseilers, and I will say it started just after 9. And it was like a pretty long show. So by the time I got on, I reckon it was like 11 o'clock. So it was quite late on a Friday
Sometimes
night.
it's not
you were
you,
probably
it's
just
them.
getting started.
Yeah.
For you, that's still 5 hours away from text message time.
Yeah, man. I don't reply to text messages. This is not like, who cares if it's 4 a.m.? Like, I don't.
No, I
it's
don't
like,
care
I don't do it
either.
all the time. I don't exclusively text back at 4 a.m. I'm just like, it's a Friday night, and then I was like, oh, Tommy might not thought that I've seen his messages, and I was like, it'll be funny, and I was like,
I don't care. It's funny.
Talk about this on the pod.
I'm doing my job right now. I'm trying to
We
bounce back after last night's horrific performance. I'm on the ropes here.
Yeah. Well,
You have so much to prove the
coming
next
down,
thing
so
you-
I'm also trying very hard.
It was awesome. You were telling me that in the lift, and it's like, God, you love getting a little detail like that while there's just like the relationship that you have with like strangers in a lift when you're just like, you know what I mean? You're just like, you'll be with a friend and you're just like
also-
talking about your lives, and it's like you're in such an intimate space with people that you are living in the same building as temporarily, but you are completely distant from.
But it's so like, it's sort of audacious to think that they're listening. So, because like I think I talk quite loudly quite often, and it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, what if people are listening to me? And then I'm like, people aren't listening to you that much. They're
No, in a
more
lift they
concerned.
definitely are, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I thought I timed it really well because I was like, because you were like, oh, you were up all night partying, and I was like, no, Tommy, like I could have been studying.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I could have been
you
doing
were
my
immediately doing
PhD.
PR, doing the damage control in the lift.
I was like, and then the lift stopped, and then I was like, nah, just kidding. I'd taken acid.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, it
they
was
got
great.
out of the lift. And
By
I was
the
like,
way,
that's beautiful for them. They got to
That
hear.
guy in the lift, that was in the lift with us,
Was he?
every time I have gone up or down in that lift, he's been in there.
Whoa.
Every single time.
He must be a stalker of you.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
we're
psycho.
we're in sync. We're on the same hotel schedule. I love it.
Yes.
But no, but thank
Is
you
he
for doing
also
this.
doing a podcast?
Maybe this is maybe this hotel is the new home of podcasting.
You know what's funny is I was out with my friends and I was like, I'm going to be at the Ace Hotel at 11. They're like, 11 a.m.? Like, who goes
Yeah.
to the Ace Hotel at 11 a.m.? And I was like, it's for a podcast, you fucking dirt bags. Like,
Man,
they're like,
how's
only
this?
after dark do we go to the Ace Hotel.
I don't think I said this on here yet, but I was down there the other evening. I was having a little drink by
At the
myself
Ace Hotel-
At the Ace Hotel
bar.
in the bar.
Yeah.
And on one side of me was my. I won't name him, but I think you probably will know who this person is. My brief ex-comedy manager. A comedy manager who I was with like 15 years ago for about 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, him on a date.
Oh, red hot.
With a much younger woman.
Okay.
So I'm there watching him have a snog in the bar.
That's hilarious.
On the other side of me, frooms.
Yeah.
I was like, man, what a hot pot.
Yeah.
What a hotbed of activity here at the Ace Hotel.
Yeah, man. Everything's happening.
Yeah, it's all happening. But no, thank you for being here. Thank you for dragging yourself out of the tomb.
That's okay.
Out of the Hoon tomb.
Yeah.
You very graciously answered my questions that I send out
I
in
did.
advance.
Are you going to ask them to me? Because I feel like we've been talking for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Do we get into the questions?
Yeah, we get into the questions. I specifically got very excited by your first answer, which was what's your main like superpower? And you wrote sucking dick. Just kidding. But for the moment before I read the just kidding, I was like, all right, this is going to be a kind of interesting but challenging ep for me to approach with a bit of tact and not sound
Good
creepy
luck
or
not
weird.
getting a Me Too'd, bitch.
Yeah, 100%. So, well, you put it on there. You want to talk about it. So, tell
I
me
just
more
think it's
about
so, like, they were very like
doing bits in a survey that's just for one person.
But it's like
No, I know.
you're making me answer questions.
I know.
Like, we're professional talkers. Like, don't need icebreakers. We don't need, like, what's your superpower? Like, we're not on, like, maybe you do. I don't know. I actually haven't listened to this podcast yet.
Yeah,
Could be my favorite podcast.
That's all right.
But yeah, I was just like, well, this is insane. And that's why I wrote sucking dick.
No,
for the first.
Nina, I did 15 years of a show where we had nothing. People came in and we had
crave
fucking
structure.
nothing. I want
crave
structure.
that mineral.
I want a plan. I want a fucking net to fall back on.
Yeah,
hey, if all we do
right.
is gas bag for the hour, that's great.
Yeah,
but you want to have a little.
You want to be like, what's your favorite color?
What's your favorite dick to suck?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, complicated question. There are so many.
Yeah, but what I did love, I kind of feel like I don't. It's rare that I get answers to this side of it that are the most interesting to me. The things that the times that you've like failed at something or not known what you were doing, and you highlighted a recent trip to India.
Oh yeah,
where you got what, like almost kidnapped or like.
Oh yeah, we did get almost kidnapped, but that's not the story I wanted to tell. So we went for an Indian wedding.
Yeah,
which is like incredible. Like,
that's my dream, honestly,
dude.
To go to an
fucking
Indian
sick.
wedding. Yeah.
You need to know more Indian people, dude.
I know.
You need to fucking decolonize your social circle.
I really do. But I don't know. I kind of, my two options are I get more Indian friends.
Yeah.
Or
your girlfriend gets more Indian
I
friends.
just fucking
join the KKK.
I just nuke my relationship.
Yes,
Maybe
and date an Indian.
And date an Indian. Because then I get to be in the Indian wedding.
That's so
Which
true.
looks like so much fucking fun.
But I think it's more stressful if you're in the wedding.
That's true.
Because then you're like, it's your wedding.
Yeah.
And you have to like, basically like, if in an Indian wedding, it's the one that we went to was a 6-day celebration. It was 4 days in one city. Then we all got on a plane, had a rest day, and then it was 2 days in another city.
Fuck,
and every
that
night,
rules.
I know that you were like 4 a.m. Every night we stayed up till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
doing cocaine.
My mate.
With the uncles.
That's so
like
good.
These 55-year-old Indian men just in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Doing copious amounts of cocaine.
I would never have picked that that's part of it. I would never have guessed that that's
I don't think it is. Like,
officially not meant to be.
Well, no, I think that we just went to a cool Indian wedding is what happened.
Okay, all right. So, but yeah, it does. All of that does sound stressful. But I'm wondering if I'm in one and if I'm the white guy, are they just going to assume like, look, this guy's not going to know shit about the organisation of this.
No, so we're
keeping his hands off, you know.
Well, no, so we got it. So my partner, for some reason, I'm going to like 4 weddings this year, and they're all like overseas because my partner knows lots of people that are marrying like women from Europe, essentially in these castles. It's crazy. I don't know. Yeah. They're all Russian, and they're all really.
Yeah. I've been to one destination wedding in Noosa. Ben Russell and Maggie Look. That was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people my age, they complain when they have to go to a destination wedding.
Really?
I'm fanging to have an excuse for a little Bali trip, a little year. Like, man, invite me anywhere. I'm there. You know, it gets harder and harder to like, even when you live a life where you're like, could just go on a trip, you know, tomorrow if we wanted. But it is kind of hard to sort of justify like financially and time-wise.
Yeah.
But someone going like, hey, you gotta be in Rome for our wedding. It's like, all right, if you insist.
But it's also just like, for some reason, all these girlies are like getting married in a castle over 4 days in like the Tuscan sun. It's like, that's saying no to that.
That
like,
rocks.
Crazy?
Right, 100%.
Or like the one that we just went to. So we went overseas to like, we went into India for a wedding, and then we went to Europe for a week, and then we had another wedding there in Germany, which again, it was like in this beautiful German castle, and we had to buy lederhosen to have like a lederhosen night. And we drank heaps of beer and pretzel. Like it was just like,
before when you were like, yeah, I went to India and Germany, I was thinking like, yeah.
What a combo.
Odd combo. I don't know if I can think of anyone else on earth that would have specifically done those two back to back in the one trip.
It's very intense because India is like probably the most intense place on earth.
I really want to go to India. I think it would kill me.
It's incredible, but it's just like there's so much like you step out onto the street and it's like people are like asking you for money, like begging, and then other people are like, come to my shop, we'll tailor your clothes, and then like other people are like, get in my tuk-tuk, and it's like, because you're like white, you're just like a beacon of like, I've got money to spend. Like, and like, so really everyone just like yells at you. And then on top of that, there's like motorcycles like all over the road, driving on the wrong side of the road. It's just like, it's like pure chaos.
I feel like I would I've got like a pretty weak stomach to begin with. I really do feel like I, at least the first week, would be too scared to venture too far from the hotel. Just in case.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know about how sick white people especially can get over there from the food, the intensity of the food.
Well, you don't have to.
I would be too scared to go like more than a block away from the hotel just in case.
Wait, actually, you're going to love this. So my friend, also called Tom, he went...
Oh my God, that's crazy.
That's crazy. There's another guy called Tom. So he went to India last year, and he was also afraid that he would get really sick. Yeah. So every day he ate hotel breakfast, like because you get a free breakfast or whatever, and then he ate a protein bar for lunch, and then for dinner he would eat a curry, and that's how he like tempered his digestive system, is just by eating like fruit and yogurt breakfast, protein bar lunch, and then he would have like a beautiful spread.
That's a good point. Yeah, good. Like go hard for dinner, kind of late dinner. Yeah, when you know you're just going to go back to the room and like sleep and chill anyway,
or just like walk around.
That's right. Like start like early lunch where you're like, I'll get a curry and then we'll go for a walk and sightsee. It's like that'll
kill you. You'll get so tired. And then you'll shit your pants all the way. But it's like he was so worried, and then like he put the fear of God into me because he didn't get sick at all. So I was like, well, I also have to do this. So we went to Chemist Warehouse before we went to India, and we bought a whole tray of Musashi, like you know those boxes, how like all the protein boxes. We bought a box. So maybe they were half price. They were like $2. They're usually $6, and we were like, we've got to use this. And it was like the 45 grams of protein ones. So they're like, and then we basically the whole trip we just like never ate them. So we were just trying to consciously use them up.
Yeah.
We were like, oh fuck, I've got to eat another protein.
Don't want to have to import this. Don't want to have to declare this on the customs form. I don't want to that we're bringing Musashi back into the country.
Exactly. Yeah. But also our friend Martin, he was like, he thought it was so funny that we brought like 16 protein bars overseas, and he's like, you have to take a picture every time you eat one. But there was one day where we spent the whole day in the hotel because we were just like so exhausted at the end of the India trip, and we ate like 4 protein bars in one day, but we had to make it look like we were in 4 different locations. So like we had to set up different parts of the room. Sure. One was like a mirror selfie to be like, we're not just lying in bed eating protein bars.
We're not just taking down the whole box in one sitting.
Yeah, but it's hard to know like where do you have to. It's quite daunting. I think sometimes knowing where to get food or like what's safe for what. But I did eat street food though. Yeah, it was really funny. Everyone was like, "Don't eat the street food. Like whatever you do, don't eat the street food."
What's like the gnarliest thing that you? What was like the thing that you saw where you're like, "That's too high risk"? Like what's the most intense thing they're eating in the streets over there?
The highest risk thing is called. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. It's called puchka in Kolkata, and it's called pani puri in like Kerala and Goa and Mumbai, I think. But it's basically just like a crispy, like a shell, like a chip that's in the shape of like a circle with a hole punched in the top of it. And then they fill it with, my friend described it as swamp water. It's not swamp water. And then they have potato filling that like a guy just with his hands, he has like a mortar and pestle, but his hand is like the pestle. Okay. And he's just like scrunching like all these herbs in his hands. And what happens is you hold out, he gives you a tiny little plate and he throws the ball onto the plate, puts the potato mix in from his hands and then like scoops swamp water in it and you just drink it and eat it like a shot. You just like back in one go.
That doesn't sound too, I mean, obviously hygiene.
Water. So the issue is that
the water?
You can't drink the water because the water is it's not clean, or like it's like
it's actual water.
It's water, but it's like tap water from India, which is like,
of course,
Australians just could not handle that because like
delicate,
delicate.
I thought you meant swamp water was like a nickname for it because it's like a curry sauce or something that's the color of
it's like the color of like a black green water.
Yeah, okay.
So it
the
doesn't
water's
look
because I was going to say that doesn't sound too. I'm thinking about like Asian countries where the street food is like, this is a fucking leg of an animal, not even like as you were describing it, I was like, that sounds pretty tame.
But like that stuff is always like cooked really well. I think it's just,
sure, but I just mean your detachment from it of just being like, oh, this is a part of when it's just like a full frog that's still in its just original form where it's like I truly am eating an animal.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I don't. Maybe because I'm Japanese, like I don't think that stuff is like gross. Yeah. But like I'm so scared of getting food poisoning that like tap water freaks me out. Like my barometer is like, wait, it's from the tap. Like, I don't know.
Oh man, like I've had bad food poisoning on a trip once, and
I did get
only once, and it was like I truly thought I was gonna die. It was fucking awful.
I was really lucky. I had diarrhea. I had like one ends gastro. Diarrhea all day. Every day.
Yeah.
Like that was just my life. And at some point, I just had to eat naan bread and drink mango lassies.
I mean, that's the thing. My baseline day to day is pretty rough anyway. So it's like I've been in so many countries where I'm like, I need to find a public bathroom right now. Yeah. And I've always managed it. I've made it work. It's all been fine. But it's like, me and my ex, 15 years ago or something, we were in Thailand. We were in Phuket and it was just like 48 hours of
pooing
in and out of consciousness, pooing and shitting and vomiting in a shared bathroom.
I hate
just like
that
one where you just, the point where you just weakened. So you're just asleep. You kind of like
you're passed out on the tiles,
zoning in and out.
That's the best feeling when you vomit in a toilet and then you put your cheek on the cold tile under the toilet, and it's like that tile is so dirty, but in that moment you're like, cold tile.
I was watching The Wire for the first time like in the lead up to that trip, and I was like on the last bit of the last season, and I was like, I'm going to finish The Wire off on this trip, like on a flight here and there, and just like going to sleep and whatever. And I was so like zoned in and out of consciousness that like
you don't remember any of
how I remember watching the last episode of The Wire
from the tile under the toilet.
And I'm like crying because the end made me very emotional, and I'm just
that's
so
the third
sick
type
that I've
of
lost all
like molecules of cum and piss and shit, and now your tears. I don't know. It comes everywhere. Probably.
I got this really weird.
It's
like
a hotel
new kind
room.
of
Cum is everywhere. Like I think my theory is that cum is in every hotel.
Of course, of course.
It's like for this hotel room that you're in, Tommy.
Yeah.
It's full of cum.
If you think about even like the sickest thing that you have done in a hotel room and realizing that you're probably like, in terms of freakiness, you'd be like in the bottom 10%.
Absolutely.
You're not
my
even,
gosh.
Yeah.
My friend, when we shot Deadloch, it was Gracie Otto. We were put up in like apartments. So we had to live there for like 3 months.
Yep.
And under her bed,
Is this when you got the island madness?
No, that was in season 1. In season 2, I was like actually fine.
You got the top end madness.
I went Troppo. I'm fucking crazy. I loved Darwin. Actually, I think I had a good time filming Deadloch too. I was very like,
okay.
I was having a like. I think like I'd figured out. Because it was my first TV show on Deadloch 1 and you're like all stressed and like all these things. Like I literally every day convinced myself I was going to get fired. I also play a very anxious character, and in order to get into the character, I would make myself more anxious in order to play her on screen, but then I wouldn't be able to stop being anxious. Yeah. Whereas like it was so good in season 2 because I'm like, I can just drop into the character.
Well, you had that weird thing in season 1 too where you like weren't allowed, for people who don't know, filmed in Tasmania, and it was like close enough to after the like lockdowns and still very like pandemic paranoia where you guys weren't allowed to, even if you had like a week off filming, you weren't allowed to like go back home and then come back in.
It was very like
they thought you were going to bring the disease back into the beautiful Apple Isle.
To quote the case, it started because it was 6 months in Tasmania from January to June. So like from the warmest period, which is still freezing,
Yeah.
to the coldest period, which is fucked. The Kates described it as, they were like, it started off like a summer camp and it finished off like a women's prison.
Well, that's
like,
I
think
saw you near
everyone
the
sort of
end.
felt-
That was maybe the drunkest I've ever seen you, actually. That podcast that you did.
Oh yeah,
with
I was
us.
not coping. I was like, I just
And
gotta
then you
get
came
through.
out for drinks afterwards.
I did. God, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I was so drunk. Not on set, but just every time I was off set, I was just like,
yeah.
it's the place. It's got the best alcohol in the country. You know, it's got the most beautiful
is,
wineries.
yeah.
The Lark whiskey.
You have to
my
really-
taste became way more expensive because I was hanging out with grown-ups. Like everyone that I hung out with was like in their late 30s, early 40s, and they were like, "We only drink Lark," and I was like, "Wow, I now only drink Lark whiskey." Like now, I would look at a 200 bottle of whiskey and be like, "That's insane."
Yeah, not to
I would
sound
not
like
do that.
not to sound like an alcoholic, but I do not know how you could live in Tasmania and live a sober lifestyle. Like, especially in that
couldn't.
cold. That's the
No.
one thing that gets me through winter is like, it's kind of nice to hole up in the window of a pub if they've got like a fire and just get real cozy and
Yeah.
have a few drinks on a Saturday afternoon
It's
and the
gorgeous.
footy's on. It's like, if you get into that lifestyle, I can see it being great. But just being like, yeah, I don't drink, I just go for runs and it's like -2 degrees.
No, you can't. You just can't do that. Also, like I had this really big apartment, like the biggest apartment I'd ever had all to myself.
Yep.
And I'd never had, like I did not expect this at all because I won't get into it. But basically I had this incredible apartment, had like a beautiful kitchen island and a dining table.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to entertain every weekend. So like every weekend I would just have people over and cook like a mad spread. And then also like, I think I just always had like 4 bottles of champagne and a full bottle of whiskey in case we decided to come back to mine after set. And I always had salt and vinegar chips because you have to have salt and vinegar chips with champagne. That was something that Mad Sami, who's in Deadloch, told me.
Yep.
So it was like, literally at any time we could have a party at my house.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
But
nothing worse than someone going, come back to mine, and then you get there and they're
And
like,
there's no
I actually don't have
booze.
any drinks and no bottle shops are open, and you're
Yeah.
like, thanks for
And
this.
the bottle shop in Tasmania, do you know what it's called?
9/11.
9/11. Like,
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say the dick sucker, but then I'm thinking of the dick liquor in
dick
St
liquor.
Kilda in Melbourne. But yeah.
No, 9/11.
dick
It was just
sucker.
like another bottle of, what is it, a champagne has hit the second fucking
Yeah,
tower. Like
yeah.
that was like my whole life where I just was constantly like in a crisis, and I was like, you know what? Instead of dealing with any of my feelings, I might just have like 10 people over and we're all going to get hammered.
Well, you know what's great too is that when you do stand up in Tasmania, boy, the people down there love it when you make jokes about the 9/11 bottle. Like it truly is. They're like, yes, cunt, we know. Every single comedian we've ever seen down here has brought up the fucking 9/11 bottle shop. We're aware.
I had a really good, when I was in Tassie, I did like a good one-liner about the 9/11 bottle shop. I can't remember what it was, but I remember I came out of my mouth on the night and I was like, that's genius. And then I was like, I'm going to, because when you're building your show and you're discovering new riffs and you're exploring the neighborhood, as it were, and I just like, I love that phrase, exploring the neighborhood. You're like, why don't I just like go all out? And it might not work, but like, let's try.
Sure.
And so like, I had that joke and I was like, I've got that in my back pocket, but I'm not playing another show in Hobart. I think I went to Melbourne Comedy Festival next.
Yep.
And did that joke and like nobody laughed.
I love that.
Because
yeah.
like nobody
I
gives a
love
shit
that.
about the
People-
9/11
yeah,
bottle
someone
shop.
doing a gig in a town where they've got the thing and the bit's killed in the town and they're like, you know what? If I could just do this bit anywhere.
Yeah.
All I have to do is just tell people about this place that's got a weird name.
Yep.
But more often than not, people are like, yeah, we don't care.
Oh, I think I actually dropped the whole bit from memory. Like it was part of this like big bit.
Yeah.
There was like a tag on it. And I think I was just like, the whole bit must die.
I feel like I've seen so many people. I don't know if it's still there. Maybe you experienced it when you were there doing this season of Deadloch, but there's a place in Darwin I think called the Duck's Nuts, and I feel like there was a point where I would see like
so.
maybe 5 different people had material about this
The Duck's
bar
Nuts?
in Darwin called the
remember
Duck's Nuts.
Everyone had material about Throb, the only gay
Yeah,
nightclub
yeah,
in
yeah,
Darwin,
yeah, yeah.
But it got shut now.
Oh damn!
But no,
But what were you going to say about Gracie's hotel?
Oh yeah,
in,
dude, we've strayed so
the
far.
lead into this being
We've
about
strayed so
cum.
far from the Lord's work, which was the Indian wedding, which I actually have quite a good story
Yeah,
about.
we'll get back there.
oh yeah,
We're
Gracie
exploring
Otto.
the neighborhood.
We're exploring the fucking neighborhood. But the thing about exploring the neighborhood is you do it so that you can edit it down to the best bits of the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah,
whereas
yeah,
this
yeah.
is like,
This is all
going
gold.
out. This is raw. All right. Gracie Otto found, so it was like a apartment where, like, it was an Airbnb. So the sort of presumption was it belonged to someone who like lives there at some point, like who owns the place. And she found like all these private school graduation mugs from like from like graduation year, like 1980 or 19.
Whoa.
Maybe it would have been like maybe 1999 or something, graduation year. And so that would put that guy in his like 40, 50,
Graduating
45s.
in 99.
Yeah. That means you were like 18 in 99.
Mid-40s.
Mid-40s,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then she was like, underneath her bed, she found a tag that had been ripped off like a piece of clothing. And the tag was for like a size 8 like fetish school skirt.
Oh, no.
And she was just like, this fucking private school cunt, like 41-year-old like banker cunt has been like fucking some like girl with schoolgirl fantasy. Like, it was so nasty.
The like there's
So
something about the
nasty.
schoolgirl fantasy that is like, I don't even find it gross. It's just like, it's so unimaginative. You know what I mean? It's so like a cliche. Like, you would never put it in a script because it's like no one really has that. You know what I mean? It's so
I would
like
totally put it
it's
in a
so
script.
like base. It's so like baseline go to like.
Yeah. But I do think it's very real. I
guess it is. It's real, but it's like there's something about it where it's like you've just heard this at some point that this is a fantasy and gone like, yeah, that'll do for me.
Yeah, I guess so. But I do think like it makes sense because like we live in a pedophile culture.
That's true.
You know?
We really do
But
live
it
in a pedophile culture.
I think we do, dude. We like live in this fucking pedophile culture.
Yeah.
It's okay to say that.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, just I think it was just that the combo of the mug with the private school, boys' school graduating
the props.
year.
Yeah.
And the like just finding like a
the
fetish
tag
skirt.
is so funny.
Because it's like,
this
oh,
tag
that could
having
be-
so much information on it is
Yes.
great.
Yeah. Like that could, if it was just the tag, like it could be lesbians with a schoolgirl fan. Like
Yeah.
it's like not gendered. It could be like two young people.
I
You know,
love it because
experimenting.
it's like there being this much detail on the tag. It's like in a video game when they'll do like environmental storytelling where you just find a letter that someone's written where they're like, hey, the experiment's gotten a bit out of hand and I'm a bit scared about how, but you know what I mean? It's like these things that you just kind of incidentally discover that just tell you so much about the environment.
And there's
finding a
something-
tag that has so much information on it where then you have a complete picture of what's happened in this room.
It's like Gracie was like Sherlock Holmes. Like I don't think I would have put that together. Like I wouldn't have looked under the bed and found the thing.
The worst
but
thing
also
I've-
I think her like to me one of the weird like funniest tells in that is size 8.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's a small lady. That's a
Yeah.
schoolgirl sized.
That's it's not just
lady.
like, oh, imagine my like adult partner
my
dressed up in
normal
a school dress.
sized,
It's like, no, I want
post-children,
this to
adult
be
wife.
fully realistic.
Yeah.
I want
It's
this to
like-
be immersive.
I want this, and I
Yeah.
think that's the thing where I'm like, what a sick fuck. Like if it was
yeah.
like a size like 10 or 12, I'd
Yeah.
be like, maybe it's just like him and his partner, or like I don't know. There was something about it being a size 8 where I
his
was like,
partner puts the uniform on. Maybe they met
Yeah.
at school, you know.
yeah. It's
High school
totally that.
sweethearts,
No way, man.
just
It was
transporting
so just
themselves
like-
back. The weirdest thing I found in a hotel room is I was trying to plug my computer into the TV.
Yeah.
To the HDMI thing, and I was kind of like feeling around back there, and I found like a meth pipe just hidden behind the TV, and you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird. And I feel like bad for this person that they're probably at home being like, where is that fucking meth pipe?
Dude, that's so crazy. I have a story that kind of lines up with that. Maybe I told you the story already. Basically, I feel like I've told this story already on a podcast.
Yeah. maybe let's try
we'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
Explore the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry. So this is like a story. It's like a friend of a friend story. It feels like a myth, but I saw evidence of
yep.
it. So basically, like my friend's friend like moved into this like new building. It was like really nice, fancy building. Like, it was so fancy, like it had a doorman.
Okay.
And she like I think it was in New York. From my memory, it was in New York. Because I'm
Okay.
like, where fucking has a doorman in Australia?
Yep.
Like, so, but I've been told later that it was in Paddington.
Oh, yes.
By a different person.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is so not helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, she has a doorman, and like she like becomes like friends with this doorman. She's like, she'll like be like, hello. And like he's like the reason she's like, this building is super safe. Anyway, so she's like going up and down the lift. She's like living her life, whatever. And, every day she'll like leave for work, and sometimes she'll come back to her house and just stuff will have been moved around. And she's like, oh, like that doesn't feel good to know. And she starts like noting where she left stuff and then coming back and being like, that cup was like it was like 2 inches away from where I put it. And she just starts being like, is there a ghost in my house? Like she feels like she's going crazy. And she's like, it's probably just a ghost. And she like sages the house, and it's like this stuff keeps happening. And so she sets up like a camera, and she like goes to work, and it doesn't go off for like a whole month. And then like 1 month later, she's like at work, and she gets like a notification on her phone from her camera app, and she looks at the picture, and it's the doorman, and he's naked, and he's sucking a guy's dick who's also naked. And there's a third person in the room, a girl, also naked, wearing this like the apartment girl's jacket and smoking crack. And this woman took a screenshot of the picture, which I have seen. My favorite thing is you can see the flame in the crack pipe. Like it's like a freshly lit blue flame. It's like the most intense thing. Like imagine being like, oh, I think like cups are being moved around my house. I think it's a ghost. It's like, no, your doorman is having meth orgies.
It's very real. It's very much in this realm. No spirits at all.
Like you would have rathered it being a spirit, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
no, totally.
Not the doorman. He keeps me safe.
And then,
but he knew whenever she went to work and when she came back from work. Because he's the fucking doorman.
He's the doorman. What?
Yeah, like how hectic is that?
What do you do next in that situation? That's my nightmare. Not only, I mean, the actual what's happening in the house, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm going, oh, now I've got to have a confrontation. Now I've got to
You're such a pussy bitch,
I know,
Tommy.
I am.
Now you're having a confrontation.
Yeah,
dude, you have a photo of this man.
Now I've got to look a man in the eyes and be like, hey, man, I know you've been having orgies in my...
Dude, that's the best. To go up to a man, show him a photo of him sucking a dick, and be like when else are you ever going to be in that situation again? Hi. Hey, Tommy.
So you would love it. You would be like, yes.
Yes. I'd be like, what is going to happen? Like what could, if you'd been doing something super illegal for like the past 3 months and someone just fully was like, had a
photographic
picture,
evidence.
had a picture of you getting your dick sucked while a girl smoked meth next to you.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing I think.
I would be like, that would be,
it's one thing to be using the room for sex.
Yeah.
It's the other one to be using it for a MMF orgy, which included crack.
I think I would be like, hey man, why does the chick have to be there? You know what I mean? If I get like, maybe you're sneaking around, maybe you're married and you're closeted and whatever.
But she
and it's like the one place you can do it.
In
Like
the orgy. She was just
but that's what I mean. Why is she getting invited to just smoke crack? Suck dick in my apartment all you want.
But I don't know.
But
maybe
keep the drug use out of it.
Maybe if like 10 minutes earlier, if they'd looked at the footage, she would have been involved. But she was on her meth break, I think. Yeah. She was on smoker, you know. She was.
Oh man, yeah, that is good. And you know what? I have heard that story from you before. You know what's crazy? I've got the worst memory for stories and stuff. But as soon as you said the word doorman, I flashed forward and I was like,
it's the doorman.
Yeah, I think there's crack or some sucking dick or something at some point in this story. Damn.
Yeah.
So, India.
Yes. Do you edit this? No, I presume not.
Sometimes. I'm feeling good about this one though. I like when it's all over the place.
Okay,
I think people enjoy that.
Good. Oh my gosh, the worst time I did a cooking show one time, and I just was very flustered when I went in, and I don't want to get into it because I don't want it to be identified. Because I've only done 2 cooking shows.
I was going to say, you were on one recently, yeah.
It's probably that one. The end, the host I was like, was that okay? And the host was like, it's fun to have an awkward episode every so often. I was like, fuck, man.
A bad one in the mix makes people really appreciate when it's actually good.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm on the Friday, which means they don't care if people keep watching after my episode.
Sure.
It either means that they want to end with a bang, but I think it means I have the least compelling episode because it's on a Friday. But that's just me reading into everything.
Can I ask you a question about those cooking shows?
Yes.
A bit of behind the curtains that I'm interested in.
Yes.
Because I'd love to go on one of those shows.
You want to know how the sausage gets made?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
you
why I'm watching the show.
You strike me as like a secretly good at cooking person.
See, I am.
I bet you have Eric Wareheim's cookbook. Did I fucking get you, bitch?
Yeah, and I love it, and it's fucking great.
Yeah. I know exactly what kind of cook
His
you are.
ragu is great.
Yeah. I know.
No, I'm an ottolenghi girly. I fucking love.
Really?
I love yotam. What's wrong with like an ottolenghi?
I just think every ottolenghi recipe is 3 hours long for like something that tastes like it tastes like it took 20 minutes to cook. It's like raisins, almonds, rice. I'm like, this did not need to take 3 hours.
Well, he's got a lot that you can kind of. There's a couple that I've like filed down where I'm like, this bit doesn't need to be in
pickled lemon doesn't need to be in everything, cunt.
Yeah.
Get it? Anyway,
No,
so
but
this is very specific.
I like having a thing that is kind of creative but very mechanical. Like I find it, like if I've got like a spare, like a weekend afternoon, I love like a Saturday, start a recipe at like 4 and just like put some music on. I like the length of time that it takes.
I do.
I like just being like.
But I don't like the midness of the taste.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's
where
very
I'm just
fair.
like, if I spend 4 hours cooking a meal, it better be like fucking good.
Sure.
And not taste like the same thing every time.
Sure.
I don't know. I think you know what? I've only made like 2 or 3 ottolenghi recipes in my life. And every time I have been like, 3 hours for this? Like, I don't know. Maybe I didn't follow it correctly.
I've got like a few in the rotation that are undeniable bangers that also don't take too long. But then I definitely have done what you're describing where it's like
I feel like I stuffed
the
a chicken.
juice is not worth the squeeze,
Yeah,
Yotam.
no. Or like, I feel like, it was like a herbed couscous situation and I had to cut up heaps of herbs and I was just like, at the end I was like, it's pretty good, but it's not like an hour in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think for me it's like I love having my time wasted.
Yeah.
I genuinely do.
That's what a luxury.
Because the way I think about it is like across your life, like your relationship to cooking will change it changes so much, right? Like from moving out of home and just like fucking being a dumb young man that's like just figuring it, just eating like fucking tin tomatoes or whatever, to sort of deciding that you gotta put some effort in and kind of learn how to do this and whatever, to then the luxury of time of going, I like taking 3 hours to make a recipe, put some music on, drink a little wine while I'm doing it, whatever. But then, you'll go through a phase of your life where, perhaps you have children where you're like way busier and it's like, no, recipes need to be
like me.
pure as quickly as
with all my children.
If you're cooking for kids, you can't be like, you can't be banging out a 4-hour ottolenghi recipe for a 1-year-old.
I have a theory that like, I think I'm a good cook, and whenever I go into the kitchen, it's like have you seen Mickey Mouse Fantasia, where he's got all the brooms and he's like boom, 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 and then it's like that's how I, or like Matilda with like the cards and the pancake, like that's how I feel when I'm in the kitchen, and when I have a 3-hour recipe, I'm like, fuck off.
So you can intuit it. You can get in there and
I'll just raw dog it. I just go, okay.
Interesting.
And my favorite thing to do is when you're like, I don't have anything to eat, and then you're like, I've got this in the freezer, and then you like piecemeal a meal, and it.
See, I can't do that. I can follow orders. This is my question about the cooking shows, right? Is because I would say I'm a good cook, but I'm good at following a recipe, right? And getting it to turn out like good results off like just getting the mix all right and everything.
Yeah.
But there's like this cooking show on at the moment where comedians are always on it, and there's like people that pop up on there where I'm like, there's no way that you just have your own good recipes ready to go to bring to this. Do you know what I mean? Like, are they helping you a bit, or are you go like, because obviously you can't just go in there and go like,
shows.
Okay, Adam, today I'm going to make Eric Wareheim's ragu. Like, surely it has to be a bit of your own, your own.
But like Tommy, he doesn't get that many white people on. Like fucking white people are the people that are making ottolenghi.
I'm glad you said it.
like he's getting like Irvi Majumdar on.
Yeah,
he's getting
yeah,
fucking Aaron Chan on. He's like not getting.
That's a good point.
He's getting Lizzie who's been on like 15 times. Like, why do you think that is? It's because her family makes cool ass Asian food. I mean, why do you think I was on? Because I have a Japanese heritage, and I like the only connection I have to my dad is food. Because like he's not that interested in me as a person. So it's like, you know, like.
Well, I guess I just don't see that kind of stuff, Nina.
Yeah, you wouldn't because you don't see colour.
Exactly.
You just see flavour.
Exactly. I just see my beautiful friends and colleagues excelling on the TV.
Yeah. You're like, why aren't I there? It's because you have no culture.
But I look at Lizzie Who side by side next to Claire Hooper. I think, I can't. What am I looking at, twins here?
But Claire Hooper's a good cook, or is it Quizzy? There's a few. I was going to say mums. I don't want to reduce these women to mums. They're superheroes.
Yeah.
But they like there's a lot of women that cook that are really like apparently incredible. Like Chrissy Swan is one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe Hoops is another.
I was thinking like the other day, I'm like, I'm always saying I want to get better at vibing it out in the kitchen.
You don't have to, though.
I think I'm going to start doing a little. Because there's been a few things I've made recently where I've thought like, if you put this element in and take this element out, this could be really good. I'm going to start doing little test kitchen lunches.
And then you know what you should do? You should go to the New York Times recipe that you followed, and then you should be like, I actually substituted a bit of the butter with like extra oil, and
I love that.
I actually added more salt at this level, and I feel like my recipe is better than this one.
I love
those people that are like, I substitute. It's like, who cares?
You
man?
need double the amount of this for the flavour to be more. But then every now and then I'll follow what they say and it's like, fuck, they actually were right.
Yeah.
But imagine putting that on like a YouTube video of someone's stand-up where you're like, hey, I told this same joke at work, but I actually
I had a better
I made the guy Asian and it's way funnier.
I did the accent. And,
I wobbled my head just a little bit as I was doing it. And I got to tell you, it fucking cranked it up by about 20%.
Yeah, in front of all my white colleagues. Like,
I was the king of the water cooler.
What is your question about food though? Is that all people just have recipes ready to go? I truly believe
on those shows I'm always wondering if there's anywhere they're like, hey,
you just have family recipes. Like I just have stuff that like my dad used to make that I make my own version of now.
Right.
And like genuinely have so many food and families. So but it's my theory is because like Asian families don't know how to love their kids, so they cook food for them. Yeah. Like that's like their way of saying I love you, because the words I love you don't come out of their mouth naturally. Right. Like it's just not a thing that parents ever say to their kids, or I support you, or I care about you. So what instead they do is they cook this insane beautiful like omakase shit. Yep. And that's sort of I think part of the reason why Adam Leo hasn't invited you on that program. But you can go on the white people cooking program.
Yeah, what is the white people cooking program?
The fucking lunch with Alice or whatever.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
I'm
seeing heaps of. That's what I'm talking about.
But she makes the recipes.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And that's why. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. But
you're in India.
I did a really awkward episode, apparently. No, it was fun. I had a really good fun time at Alice Rules. My favorite story from any cooking show is that a comedian went on a cooking show and did so poorly that the host turned to him and said, "Why are you doing this show? Why are you here?"
My management put me up for it. It's not my fault.
No, but it's like,
God, I've got to know who this is.
It was like a show where like you needed to sort of know your recipe. And I just thought it was so funny.
Good. And I think I might know who you I think I can piece together who you might be talking about.
Anyway, it just is the funniest. It's just like the funniest story. I think Lizzie who told me that.
Imagine getting that on just like cooking thing. It's like, okay, well, I'm out of my depth here. I'm doing something that's not my job. Imagine being on like a panel show or whatever and them saying to you, why are you on this?
But like
you're really unfunny.
Bombing so hard that everyone's like, get off the stage. Like,
you would hope if you made a meal that was like so bad that it made the host or judges spew. It's like, can we leave this in the edit, please? This is great television.
I think this person, sort of from the story, it was like they put, they like had a recipe with potatoes in it and then they didn't know how to chop potatoes.
Oh, okay.
It was like that level of like the jump.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally like did not know how to use a knife. Like Kendall Jenner and the cucumbers. Like it was just like, where it's like a beggared belief. Like how did you submit this whole recipe?
That like Paris Hilton cooking thing she was doing for a bit where she's like washing her beef mince or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, like rinsing it.
Sliving or whatever. Yeah. People do that. It's so weird.
It's
okay,
bizarre.
India. So yeah, we went, so the cocaine uncles.
Yeah.
So the way we found out, so Adam, my partner, is friends with the groom of this wedding. I'm trying really hard not to name anyone. But yeah, the groom of the wedding and the bride sat down with us like a month before, and they're like, look, India is like a big culture shock, you know, like it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that, blah, blah, blah. And then the wedding goes for 6 days. So they were like, on the first day, it's like evening wear. So like wear white clothes. But the second day is the Sangeet. So you're going to need to learn a whole dance, which we will send you.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to need to buy like Indian clothes. And then the third day is the wedding at the temple. So if you could have like Indian garb for that, that would be great. Like they just like took us through everything.
Yep.
And at the end, we were sort of like, a few questions. We were like, is it a dry wedding? They're like, absolutely not. Like our uncles love getting drunk. And then we were like, what about? We were like, fuck it. What about drugs?
Uh-huh.
And the groom was just like, dude, you are going to be so sweet. Our uncles love cocaine.
Okay,
you
great.
have to look for this guy, this one uncle. His name is the Milkman.
Okay.
And we were like, fuck yeah, the Milkman.
Yeah.
And so the moment we got to the first party, our eyes were just like peeled for the milkman. We were just like, he's going to become like our best friend.
Yeah.
And I think he did. And if he comes to Australia, I think we will be showing him an equally good time.
Yeah. The pressure's really on. Yeah.
But so we just like were I'm trying to figure out which story to tell. Anyway, well, we were at the bar and like just like kind of any like older Indian man with grey hair. We were just like, who's that? Like, are you my mother? Like that. Dr. Seuss. We were like, are you the milkman? And everyone sort of was like laughing at us. And then like there was like a point where like we traveled with these like this Australian K-pop crew called like 1-300, and at some point they had found the milkman and gotten like hash, and we're like, God, they got the milkman's hash stash. Like, wow, like we've all missed out.
What's the milkman's like relation to the wedding?
He's an uncle. I don't know, man. There was just so many uncles. Like it's hard to tell who's an uncle, who's a friend of a friend, who's an auntie. It's like sort of anyone in like a certain age bracket becomes like an uncle.
What sort of what kind of numbers are we like ballpark at this wedding? Like how many people?
Like
roughly?
500.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like huge wedding.
Yeah.
And we had to like learn this dance. It was awesome. Anyway, but
the dance is the bit that really appeals to me.
It's so sick.
And the clothing.
Yeah. But the dance is like, so basically like all the bride's friends are like engineers, and then all the groom's friends are like filmmakers.
Okay.
And so they're not all dancers, but me and my partner and my partner's friend that was also there, we are all like ex-dance people. Like when until we were like 14, we did like dance classes every day or whatever. And so we can pick up the routine really quickly. And this the dance teacher that came to teach, I want to say like 40 engineers and filmmakers that had never danced before, this choreographer came and just like abused the fuck out of us. And was like, he sent us a video of a dance that was like 2 minutes long, and or maybe it's like a minute long, and he like explained the whole dance, and everyone learned the whole dance. And then we got there and he was like who learned the dance? And we all put our hands up, and he goes, well, I'm throwing it away. We're going to learn a new dance.
Whoa.
Forget everything that you know.
It's like a reality show.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like engineers. So you think, I don't know. Engineers learn to dance. I don't know. What's the dancing with
a good title. Engineers.
Yeah.
Dancing with the engineers.
Yeah. I guess that's, anyway.
I'd watch that. Why haven't they invited me on?
Because you're not an engineer.
Just because I'm white.
Yeah. No, so a lot of the engineers were white.
Okay.
I'm just going to flag that.
Yeah, okay.
Which is probably why they were such terrible dancers.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
White people are fine.
But I imagine, if you're in the mix and you're like not that good at dancing, I imagine it's like pretty easy to just like, I imagine it's but I imagine it's supportive, right? It's very like, hey, you're getting in there, you're having a go, good for you.
But
it's all fun, it's all revelry.
Like this was like an intermediate. It wasn't a beginner's dance routine. It was like an intermediate dance routine, and the choreographer, his name was Ja Rule, which fucking rules.
Awesome.
Sick. So he taught the dance. at this like at the speed of light, like it's so fast, like I could barely pick it up, but everyone else was just like fully on Struggle Street, and then he would just like yell at people, and there were like some Indian people in the mix as well, and he'd be like, "Are you Indian?" And the Indian person would be like, "Yeah." And then Ja Rule would be like, "Are you sure?" Because it was so shit at dancing.
Right.
He was just like negging everyone. Like he was like psychologically like fucking with everyone and making them like not feel good about themselves. And everyone came away from like that 2-hour rehearsal not knowing the dance, and like it was like what are those shows where it's like we have to win the nationals.
Yeah.
It was just like everyone was like, we've got 2 days to do our fucking 4-minute dance in front of 500 people at the Sangeet. So the Sangeet is the night where like everybody does their dance. It's basically
God, I would
for an
love
Indian wedding.
this. Like if you said to me now here, like, hey, tomorrow night or in 2 nights' time, there's this show and you have to learn this dance.
Yeah.
I would find it so stressful. I would hate it. But something about being in another country and it being for a wedding.
Yeah. And
I
you're
would
all
be
dressed
like,
in, like,
I'd like to
beautiful
think
Indian
that I would
clothes.
like rise to the challenge. I would be so into it.
So everyone was like, we have to learn this dance, but nobody knew the dance. I think there wasn't like a video of the dance. And so the next day, so everyone was like, can we have another rehearsal with Ja Rule? And so like the next day we go to another rehearsal. Ja Rule, he's going to be 2 hours late. So someone's got to be the dance captain. And that someone became me.
Really?
Yeah. So I stepped up to the plate and I taught like 40 engineers.
You imbued yourself
dance.
with the spirit of Ja Rule.
Yes, I did. And I was trying to make it more clear because Ja Rule's like running through everything. And I was like, I gave every dance move a name. So I'd be like, we're going to do the hammer to the left 4 times.
How come you got given the task of running? Was there no one else that was putting their hand up?
No one else. And also like, I think I like love attention. I love communicating and I love organizing. I love directing.
Yeah,
so I was like, I was like, don't make me do it. Just kidding.
I might be too shy, but I could perhaps have a go.
But I also was like, I'm the partner of someone. Like I got brought to the wedding. Like I'm a plus one. I'm a ring in. I was like, I got to earn my keep.
You got to prove yourself.
I got to earn my keep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And so I was like, I rehearsed these fucking engineers like for 2 hours, like two hours on the first day, and then before the performance, I think I rehearsed them for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's
great. And they
were
fucking tight band that you couldn't even tell that they were engineers.
And then are you like, by the time it rolls around to the performance, you're real like stage mom. You're like stressing about the quality of it.
So the Sangeet, so there's all these like things in Indian weddings that have to be done. Like one of them is like a procession of the groom in, he either comes in on a horse or a sports car, or in the groom's case here, a tractor. And basically what you do is like you roll up, the whole groom's like group rolls up to the front of the gate of the venue, and it's like 50 people, a full band that's like 6, I think it's like a bunch of drummers, a trumpet player, maybe a guitarist. I don't know. It was just like so much. Like a full marching band is there. And we were also on an operating street. So like every 5 seconds, everyone, like the band and 100 people or whatever, no, maybe not 100, maybe like a band and 50 people and the tractor would have to like pull left to let like traffic through.
Sure.
And it was like traffic in India is like camels. It's like,
like,
okay, the camels are coming through. Everyone like pull, and it's like the most frenetic, crazy thing. And then all the uncles who were like fun as hell, they pour Jameson into tiny little 100 milliliter water bottles, and then they walk around, they say open your mouth, and then they pour like, wait, what's that one that you have with Red Bull and it's like fucked? It's called a Jägermeister. It was like Jägermeister. So they just like would pour alcohol down your throat, unsuspecting, give you all these bottles, and it was just like you just had to drink. So by the time we came to the actual performance, I was like I was flying off my nana, Tommy. I was just like,
not your nana.
I was fucked. Like I don't remember. It went by in a flash. I had no idea what happened, and there was just shots going the whole time. Like, the other thing that was crazy. So we went with
this sounds fucking
it was
awesome.
So crazy.
Look, if also any Tommy, Indian people listening that want to be my friend and invite me to their wedding, do it. Hit me up. This sounds fucking rad.
Yeah, it was fucking sick. So the other thing is, so me and my partner's called Adam, and he has a friend called Sam, and we were sort of like we arrived together, and then we were traveling India together for the following week. So we were sort of a bit of a crew. But Sam is sort of like tall and has brown hair, and he just to me is like a very normal guy. Like I think he's cool, but like he's not like a model or anything. But for some reason, every single woman at the wedding treated Sam like he was fucking Harry Styles. Like, I don't understand. And men at the temple, like random men we'd never seen, would come up to Sam and be like, "Excuse me, sir, you are the most handsome man I've ever seen in the world." And like, it was crazy.
Wow.
It was just like so intense. And I was like, for this guy who's like he's like a nice normal man. Yeah. But it was like in India.
He's a nice normal Argo.
No, he's not ugly. Like, but he's not like if I'm trying to think of a male model.
Does he have this real kind of...
He has a very cool vibe.
Yeah, cool vibe and maybe like adheres to some sort of idea of like Indian people thinking about like the perfect looking white like example of a white guy?
I don't know. I just I couldn't understand it. And because I have a boyfriend and I think my boyfriend is like hot, like a model.
Yeah, that's
maybe I'm just in love with him.
Yeah.
But he is like...
Yeah, you're biased.
I am biased. But he's also like he's like certified attractive. Like he used to be he used to host Disney TV shows when he was like in his 20s. He has like that perfect sort of like symmetrical like welcome back to the Disney Channel kind of face, you know?
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Maybe,
and I was just like,
maybe those shows were huge over there. Maybe that's why they're recognizing him from.
But it wasn't like they didn't talk to Adam. They only talked to Sam. And I was just like, that is so bizarre because I'm like, my beautiful boyfriend with like the face of a model and an ass of an angel. Like, it's just like, come on. I was like, what's going on here? But like to the point where like 13-year-old girls were following Sam around the weddings. Like we had to beat children away because they were sexually harassing our friend.
Yeah.
And there was this one girl and I had to keep turning around and being like, he's too old for you. Get lost. Like, he's too old for you, man. Like, it was so like, and she was so thirsty for him. Like a child. Like, do you know how comfortable it is when a child is thirsting after your friend?
Yeah.
It's like, and they think they have a shot because they're like teenagers and deluded.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a child.
You're like, I got to get back to dance practice. I can't deal with all of this right now.
And like Sam would, I don't know. And there was like another girl that was like in her 20s that was like, Sam, like I'm obsessed with Sam. Like her whole personality became, I have a crush on Sam.
Yeah.
And she would say it to everyone and say it loudly. And she was also really beautiful. I was like, I wish a beautiful girl would yell about having a crush on me at this
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like crazy. And like this, so there's this.
All of this is sounding like a movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I'm not wanting to like buy into like the stereotype of like just because something happens in India, it's automatically a Bollywood movie. But you having to like lead the dance practice, Jarul not being able to make it, it all has to come together at the last minute. And there's this like open, like literally just following someone around and saying, I have a crush on you. Yeah. Is the kind of weird thing that sort of only happens in a movie in like a very heightened sort of reality.
Well, I guess, and it's like a wedding and everyone's in love. But definitely like I did not have getting like harassed by 13-year-old girls on like our bingo card or like as a trio.
The last 2 weddings I've been to, actually, now that you mention it, I have been gone solo, not had a +1, and it's like it's kind of brutal because you're just like, you feel like you're just absorbing all of this love and everyone's in such a good mood and you're like, man, this would be a nice night to be spending with my partner, and us kind of like, you know, it really like you both buy into it and it really solidifies that. Instead, it's just me there by myself being like, yeah, I wish Lauren was here.
Yeah. But that's cute. I think that's nice that you miss your partner.
There's like an element to it where it's like you I don't know, at the time.
But okay, imagine you went to a wedding solo and everyone was like, I want Tommy Dassolo to crush my puss. Like, I think that would change your perspective.
True, I think I'd...
And like every woman like fell over themselves and was like, Sam is so handsome. I was like, I've never...
I think I'd leave that detail out when Lauren was asking, how's the wedding? Oh, it was fine.
Dude, this
boring, honestly.
This is the funniest thing that she did, which was she was part of the bride's party. So she like was not meant to be in the groom's tractor area, right, with the band at the Sangeet. But for some reason, it's like super chaotic. We're all really drunk. There's like the band is playing the whole time and there's like 5 drums in the band. Like it's so insanely loud.
Yeah.
and there's like a huge crowd and there's like a busy street, and this fucking little 13-year-old in like the most beautiful like sari getup comes through with 2 full arms and fingers, like full of henna, which is like tattooing, like an Indian tattoo that they do with this ink that sort of is the texture of Nutella. And then they create these incredibly intricate patterns all up and down your fingers and hands.
Yep.
And then the Nutella sort of dries, and then you chip it off, and then the ink has stained your skin in these patterns. But until the Nutella dries, it is very stainy.
Yeah.
And its intention is it's going to stain your hand for a week.
Yeah.
So you don't want to touch anyone or anything when you have Nutella hands.
Yeah.
But this fucking little 13-year-old got fresh henna all up and down both hands. She had her hands in the air, and she had a little silver handbag. I'm just so furious about this moment. It's not even that good a story. She had this little silver handbag around her like elbow that had like her phone and shit in it. And she came out of the venue, and me and Sam and Adam just clocked her, and we were like, oh no. And she clocks us, and she starts like beelining toward, like weaving through the orchestra, like her 2 little henna hands, freshly piped.
Get that shit away from me.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, like don't do that. And she's like, like just fully like she's wielding them like a weapon to like create like a Moses situation with the fucking Red Sea. And we're at like the back of the procession. She's like finds us, and she like had this look of panic in her eyes. She was just like, oh, I need my phone. I need my phone right now. And it's like when a child does that, you're like, oh fuck, like emergency, like that's a baby crying. And she's like, get my phone, get my phone. And so then we have to take her little silver handbag from her elbow nook, like kind of, you know, bring it up around the henna without smear. And she's like not doing a good job. She's like pulling it, and it's smearing all over her beautiful dress. It's smeared all over my hands. Yeah, like I just look like I had shit on my hands because this fucking little bitch. I was so mad. I was like, I had this perfect henna done, and then she just fucking like put her little henna hands all over my hands, and it was just like I wiped my ass with my hand. Like that's what it looked like because of this little girl. I was so mad. Anyway, she's like,
you're like, no, you're telling everyone I've been eating the musashi. There's no way this could be diarrhea.
Chocolate. It was chocolate coated. But yeah, so she just like, and we get her phone out, and we're like, are you okay? Like, here's your phone. And we're like drunk as well, like really drunk. And then she gets her phone out, and she starts like typing into her phone. And then she's like, Sam, you look like this celebrity. And that's what she came to tell us.
That's what she needed the phone.
And the celebrity was Chase Crawford from Gossip Girl. He was the hottest guy from Gossip Girl. And Sam does not look like Chase Crawford at all. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I nearly killed her. I was just like, just ruined the whole vibe. No, she didn't ruin the whole vibe. But like, I was just like, what? And I couldn't understand it. I was just like, I couldn't that
really got under your skin.
It really got under my skin. I was just like, how?
It feels like
Tommy, it's like some girl came up to you and was like, you look like Chase Crawford from Gossip Girl.
I mean, I'd take it. I'd happily take it.
You're like, I've gotten it
think
before.
You're mentally ill. You need to get your brain assessed. But I'm flattered, honestly. There you go, folks. Nina OYAMA. Don't forget, you can support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/howtodoeverything. And on Friday, dropping on there will be an extra little half an hour with Nina, where we got deep. We got deep about happiness. It's a really good chat, I thought. So yeah, if you didn't get enough Nina just then that's the place to go. You can also find, a few bonus episodes there already. And you can also weigh in with some discussion about this episode. If you've ever been to a destination wedding and had a great time, are you good with freestyling recipes? Have you ever had the island madness? I can't even remember all the random stuff that we talked about on this episode, but I do know that I had a great time doing it. Always love Nina. And rapt to have gotten her to stick around as well for the bonus episode. So go and check that out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Get onto your podcast player of choice and give the show a nice review if you are enjoying listening to it every week. I would really, really appreciate that. I love hearing from you guys every week. Of course, we're on Instagram at How to Do Everything Podcast is where you can drop a message, leave a comment, do all the stuff that you like to do on social media. That is going to do us for this week, folks. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time for more How to Do Everything.